The views expressed in the following podcasts are of such low quality that our local landfill has declined to accept them. They are more acidic in tone than battery acid and have been barred by every recycling depot. They do not reflect the views of our employers, spouses, friends, colleagues, or our sober selves. Any direct environmental impacts of 2 and Change are unintended side effects of our very filthy sense of humor. Your mileage may vary. Welcome to 2 and Change. The people are real.
Hey, microphone slut!
What in the act?
Yeah, you! Don't you know having a microphone that close to your mouth is basically fornication with the internet? Repent, internet Jezebel!
Josh, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, Jordan converted him to the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. He started off as a normal pastafarian, but he's gone a little off the deep end.
You should all go off the deep end for his noodly goodness. Forever and ever, ramen.
I don't know what it is. Just every time we try to introduce the show lately, we get interrupted by some sort of nonsense. Josh, just cut the shit. Let's get started.
Get started. How about you start dressing more conservatively?
Oh, for goodness sake, Josh, he's wearing a hoodie.
Like a whore.
I'm just gonna cut his mic.
You can't.
Why not?
You didn't notice that he's got his own tonight?
Fear ye the meatball.
Fine. Josh, just get the hell out of here.
That's not going to work either.
You had
Why
me
not?
at Beer Studio has been declared a public space. I'm well within my rights to yell sexually degrading things at passersby through a microphone, thank you.
Well, that's just clearly ridiculous. You know, the city should really do something about this. It's not free speech. This is just harassment.
Yes, they should. Personal freedom isn't the same as absolute freedom when it infringes on others' rights. There should be some sort of reasonable restrictions on Josh calling Tim a whore for wearing a hoodie.
I agree. The fact that I have nothing better to do on a Wednesday morning than to try to slut-shame women on their way to work with a megaphone isn't something that should be supported or tolerated in Canadian society.
If there was only some sort of reasonable way to accommodate Josh's desire to yell insane, religiously motivated hate speech at people while balancing the rights of peaceful enjoyment in public places without feeling harassed.
Oh, to live in such a world.
Bitch. Welcome to And Change. I am Josh, and I am drinking a beer that is very much likely to result in tons of jokes. A nut brown ale from Black Oak Brewing Company.
I'm not getting any jokes from the nut brown thing. Not a
So the black has the brown nuts is what you're saying.
Yeah, there's actually no head on this beer.
No head whatsoever.
But as far as my reading goes, because it's a brown ale.
Mike's already shrunk.
As far as, because I'm finding I like brown ales too, so I would say this is about a 7 mediocre. It's pretty good.
Nice.
This is going to be one of those episodes that I'm ashamed of, isn't it?
Oh, you're not ashamed of all of them?
I'm ashamed.
I go to bed and cry. every day.
Oh, you go to bed and cry. I have to listen to each episode like 12 times just to edit the damn thing. I'm getting a tick. It's like a nervous tick.
He's really comfortable now. It's like Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah, it really is. We've got him
Podcast
exactly
is mother, podcast is father. Yes.
Exactly. That's exactly how it works. And this is Mike as usual, and I am drinking again. I've gone back to the Tomatin 12 year because I haven't
Good old
finished.
standby.
I haven't finished the bottle yet. Probably will tonight though. It's
nice.
Fantastic scotch. Tim, what are you drinking?
Well, based off of our last conversation, I figured let's pick something interesting. So just for you guys, I'm drinking a Beer Snob Belgian rye ale from the Schiller Brewing Company out of Scarborough.
Is it?
It's literally called Beer Snob.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, how is it?
Mediocre.
I think that's the only correct answer in this.
It's actually, so it's a strong beer. It's like 6.5%. So I'm, about halfway through at this point.
That's
And,
strong.
Well, for beer, that's considered a strong beer. Now, the beers I drink can go way up the scale, but it's still summer, right? So I kind of ramp up the alcohol percentage towards the winter to
Tim, we
coincide.
may tell you
There's
that you might have a problem.
So much that I don't know.
It coincides with my seasonal affective disorder. What can I say?
There you go. It's fine.
Anyway, so from our very subtle intro,
Very subtle.
and that was
Very subtle.
incredibly subtle.
Yeah, in case you missed it there. Yeah.
Josh, can I get another Fear You the Meatball, please?
Fear ye the meatball of... I don't know
The
why.
flying spaghetti monster?
Guiding monster, yeah.
Love it.
Yeah. I'd like to apologize in advance to Jordan if we've offended your religious beliefs in any way.
Or offended you for not coming on today's show.
Yeah, that's also possible.
It was sort of a last minute thing. I was thinking of some, like, I honestly just wrote this today, so I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, in London, Ontario, we have a bit of a problem with two...
problem, he says, in quotation marks.
It is a problem when you have literally two people on the street with with microphones yelling at women as they go by, unless they're dressed like, beekeepers, calling them whores on their way to work because they're pastors. This is happening in our city.
Yeah, but if they're dressed as beekeepers, as you say, they would probably be yelled at in another reason.
For going to work.
Yeah, exactly. Why aren't you barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen?
Yeah, I work downtown and yeah.
So there's two of them, you say?
There's
Like,
two of them.
I haven't seen them, so
They're done
Well,
in Richmond usually.
they're
They
day
do move
doors
around,
too.
but yeah,
Yeah.
they tend to be downtown.
And they seem to leave the men alone for most part. It's women they seem to yell at all the time. So
fascinating.
Yeah, they do occasionally yell at men to tell them that they're going to burn in hell and like some sort
Mainly
of
just
fiery
you,
death.
Josh.
Well, yeah,
They think you're gay.
that's whatever. So,
Oh, are those the new glasses, by the way?
but no, these are the original.
Oh, so those are the glasses you were wearing?
I don't know.
I wonder where they got that idea from then.
Not a clue.
Yeah, no idea. So they yell at a lot of the women who I work with.
They yelled at my wife. They've yelled at pretty much any woman I know who works downtown. They've yelled at.
And it's not like so. It's and you never. I be careful how I say this. There's never an excuse to yell at anyone. But these women are
Well, I would disagree.
Okay, for
Yeah.
what they're
I
wearing.
yell at you all the time.
For what they're wearing in that context.
No, you just subtly mock them like I did with Josh and his glasses.
Exactly.
There, see?
That's the healthy way to deal with it.
It's witty and intellectual.
Exactly.
You mock him until he gets an eating disorder. That's how it works.
There, exactly.
you destroy his psyche over time.
Serious issue. Please do not.
Yeah.
Anyways, no, but they'll go downtown and they're wearing work attire and they're wearing like pants and a shirt and you're like, you whore, how dare? What the fuck?
So
Yeah, I
hang
know.
on. You guys have, again, I have not seen these guys. You have heard the word whore yelled through a megaphone?
I've heard the word whore.
I've heard whore,
Slut.
Bitch.
Jezebel. Jezebel. I've heard Jezebel.
Jezebel's a common
Jezebel's
one.
a common one?
Jezebel.
That's cute. Yeah.
Funny thing is I was in a coffee shop. There was a coffee shop in the public library downtown.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there grabbing a coffee, as one does in a coffee shop. Big surprise there.
Yep.
Whoa.
And as I was sitting drinking my coffee, I look over and there's these three people doing a Bible study. It's Pastor Asshole A, Pastor Asshole B, and some poor guy. I guess they got off the street to do a Bible study. And the weird thing is like, so I'm just like picking up my ears as somebody who was somewhat religious in the past.
Bless you.
Bless you, my son. Yes. May his noodly appendage bless us all. Ramen.
Ramen.
And
Hallelujah? Hallelujah?
I'm not sure if you can mesh the English and Hebrew there.
Yeah, that's really hard to do.
Haribo Thai pasta, Haribo. Oh, that's different.
That's a whole different thing.
Yeah. That sounds like something out of The Mummy.
It was supposed to be Hare Krishna, but anyway.
Oh, okay, there you go.
Wow, we're just sold all the religions. Awesome.
exactly.
All right. We've got
Oh, boy.
3 or 4 so far.
Send your complaint letters too.
No, so I was listening to what they were doing and like what they're talking about, just out of curiosity. It wasn't anything like strange. Granted, it was only like a small snippet into a Bible study, so it didn't seem like any sort of weird like interpretation or anything like this. And one thing I'm going to make clear at the beginning of this episode: this isn't going to be us ganging up on Christianity and Mike has to defend his religious beliefs, because that's not what we're doing on this show.
I'm
we're all
actually
friends here.
I'm actually very pissed at these two guys for what they're doing.
They're not
So
very good ambassadors for Christianity.
They
for one.
really aren't. Yeah, I don't have much patience for that kind of.
Religion has nothing to do with being a jackass.
There,
No,
there
yeah,
it is.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like saying Osama bin Laden was supposed to be a Muslim, therefore Muslims are bad. It's the same kind of logic, and therefore, no, it's stupid. It seems to be like the minority of assholes seem to speak for the majority of people.
As usual.
As usual.
Yep, Richard Dawkins being a fine example of that.
He is an asshole.
Yes, he is an asshole.
I don't think he's necessarily wrong, but he is an asshole.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
He's an asshole. He's an asshole.
You know what? He's wrong when he said child molesters aren't a thing, aren't an issue, and I'm like, hold on now. Let's take that back for a second.
Yeah.
So what I was thinking about here is that kind of leaving the religious discussion behind, because I don't think this is a religion issue.
Not really.
The city of London, despite our intro skits actually doing something a little bit clever.
What are they doing?
They're saying no amplified music on the street or amplified live performances of any kind on the street without a permit.
So you're allowed to yell, but not with the megaphone.
No,
that's right.
You're allowed to yell with a megaphone if you get a permit.
And the permit is issued at the discretion of the city.
That
does
makes
run
me
into-
uncomfortable.
And it does other people too, and it actually makes me uncomfortable, oddly enough.
Yeah.
Really?
So it's a difficult line to. They have to do something about these guys because there's no bylaw to do it. But I get where you're coming from because that is infringing on a free right of speech, and it's
hold on a
really
second, though.
difficult. And this is the
Since
problem.
when
City
is your
has.
free right of speech also include the ability to grab a megaphone on the street and start yelling at people? Why is that freedom of speech?
Well, fair enough. And
Hold on, that is freedom of speech because
How?
the price we pay.
The volume you speak at has nothing to do with what you can say if you're going to be arrested by the government for it.
But what you're saying, though, should have no bearing on it. Unless you are uttering death threats or like things that we already have laws for, you should have the
Well,
right.
we have harassment laws.
Well, is it harassment? Harassment has a very strict legal definition. Like, if I'm following this woman into her office and blaring at her all day, yes, that's harassment. But a passing comment on the street, I don't think so.
it's not passing. No, it's harassment downtown. These guys, it's like
They're
not
like
even.
it's a repeated
It's no doubt that it is.
If I'm a woman going to work every day
Yeah.
and I have to pass by these guys on my way to work, first of all, a woman should not have to feel she has to make a alternate route just to accommodate some nut jobs.
Yep.
I mean, there's a bit of a difference between those nice, quiet Jehovah's Witnesses with their nice little stand handing out the watchtower, asking you as you go by, or saying something you go by, versus some asshole with a megaphone screaming whore at you every time you go to work.
I
and there's the rub with I'm not an absolutist with freedom of speech. Yeah. See, no, here's the thing, like. You've heard the expression, like, there are limits to freedom of speech. I'm not even necessarily going to the famous yelling fire into a crowded movie theater argument.
Right.
Where your freedoms end where someone else's freedoms begin.
But do you have the freedom to not be offended? Are you? Is that one of your rights?
Is it past offense at this point?
But do you have the right as a citizen to request that your daily life doesn't be accosted by somebody, right? And that's where they're balanced. It is a delicate thing for the city. I mean, I think the city may have an approach here. I don't think I necessarily agree with it. I mean, I don't understand why they didn't just pay. I don't understand why they just pay for a boombox to be like, my milkshake's bringing all the boys to the yard, and just play that at like full volume, like right wherever they are.
I've seen people
on a loop.
Yeah, I've seen people like set up like an entire like rock band on the street to drown these people out.
Right?
That's
you know?
incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Like, to me, if I had known these people were out there, I would have been the guy tempted to get my own megaphone, and the woman that got yelled whore at, I'd be like, darling, you look beautiful. Rock that business outfit. It's great.
Who doesn't love pantsuits?
Exactly. Yeah. Hello, London.
Shoulder pads are coming back.
You all look
Dear
beautiful,
God.
London. Everyone in London looks beautiful today. I just want to talk about how amazing the city is.
Yeah, that's happened too. People
Yeah.
have done that. So I think
So
that's a
isn't
very
that-
cool reaction.
I think that's great that people can do that and that they have the right to do that.
Here's the interesting thing, though. These two guys, they're little.
Like I've heard
They're
that one
they're
apparently
little
like
mental issues.
lives at home and have rich parents, et cetera, et cetera.
And
so
is-
he literally has nothing better to
So
do.
he's bored, yeah.
Yeah, and he's mentally not
quite
all
older.
there, I don't think. So
How could you be if that's what you spend your day
I
doing?
think so. And then he went down to the States. I think he went to Florida or somewhere. I want to say it's Florida.
And he's back here because they didn't take too kindly to it.
No, they arrested his ass.
I'm sure they
Look, if you get your ass arrested in Florida for being a religious nut job,
I want to read
that's
that
a
report.
Christian.
I want to read that report. Florida man arrested for yelling whore into a megaphone. Yes.
Oh, I love Florida man and his many, many adventures.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
He ate a man's face off once. That was an entertaining thing.
Oh,
to
the
read
bath
too.
salt thing?
Yeah, that one.
But I do say though, I mean, this is a delicate line for the city to cross, right?
It is.
Like you're balancing people's freedom to move about in a peaceful way downtown city where business occurs, and you can't have people yelling extremely sexist, terrible. It's a verbal assault, really. Like the things this guy says, and maybe we'll. I think if I can say this, Tim, I think I can give it to you.
Sure.
There's videos of this guy, like what he says and how aggressive he is, but he
has
doesn't
a
quite beat the
constitutional right to be a jerk.
Hold on, but does he? That's the question.
I hate to be the guy that defends this, but
Hold on a second. That's like saying Nazis have a right to Nazi.
As long as they're not harming people.
But here's
if someone
the thing.
wants to walk through downtown London with a
being-
swastika on their arm, I might not like it. In fact, I hate everything about it, but that doesn't give me the right to lay the guy out.
No, you don't have the right to lay him out, but the thing is that here's the interesting thing. I think it's called Popper's theorem or something like that.
Yeah, I see a Nazi, a popper him in the ass.
No, the guy who came up, name was Popper anyway. So it's been floating around as a meme on the internet for a while. I looked into it. Very interesting idea. Basically, by being an absolutist freedom of speech, by supporting intolerant speech, you are basically destroying free speech. So sort of an extension of sort of the imperial, the categorical imperative, or what I think that's what it's called by Immanuel Kant. Anyway, so kind of circling back, basically meaning that if we make this an absolute right that Nazi's going to Nazi, then the people who are supporting absolute freedom of speech are the ones that are going to be stomped on first by the people who don't support it, which is the people that we're supporting. Makes sense?
No,
it does.
not at all.
Sure it does. Look at Charlottesville, for
This
example.
is Immanuel Kant.
Yeah.
You can't understand what he's saying.
No.
Well, I tried to read his literature, but I can't.
Philosophy.
Yeah. Philosophers, ivory tower thinking.
I've got a lot of philosophy books. I've got a Descartes full of them outside.
Oh, that is terrible.
I think, therefore I am witty. Yeah.
Well, rhymes with witty.
Yeah.
No, I don't think that we have. Here's the thing. I think that the idea of an absolute right of freedom of speech is not. Practically, it doesn't exist now anyway.
Well,
we already accept limitations on it. I can't say whatever, whenever. Part of the social contract means that I accept there are limits to my freedom. There are. Even in speech.
Contract.
The social contract exists, whether you want it to or not. You exchange absolute rights.
Well, it exists for you and I, Tim.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence about that.
No,
Oh, come on. How'd you drive here?
No.
Did you get
Tim-
murdered on the way here? No.
Tim, you forgot. We had a meeting.
He's
we
a
excluded
libertarian.
him from the
Yeah.
contract.
Anyway,
I never signed nothing.
well, you know what? Let's review this contract over while we get some more beers. Anyway, we'll be right back.
You're listening to Two and Change, the podcast where whiskey is the most superior drink.
Hold on just one damn minute. There are many drinks out there.
Like Kahlua and coffee. I need
And
my
beer.
caffeine
And
and beer.
And those drinks exist. Whiskey is better. You know what else is better? Our website, twoandchange.ca. You
Better
can
than
also-
what?
Better than all of the above. Where you can also find our blog at twoandchange.ca. You can also look us up on Facebook and Twitter. Follow us there, and hopefully you're enjoying the show.
Welcome back from the break. So Josh and I switched beers, and now we've got Sawdust City Brewing Company Lone Pine IPA. It looks kind of like a pine tree.
It's green.
It looks like pine
my
sap.
description is it looks like somebody peed in this bottle but had like exposure to massive amounts of radiation.
Before
It's got like
It's
a
not
weird
that green, but it's definitely not filtered. So let's just have a sip of this.
Oh my god! Smell this.
What
It ta-
in the
it
name
smells
of
like an
all
air
things
freshener.
holy is going on inside that cup?
That does smell like an air freshener.
Yeah, plug it in, plug it in.
Okay. It tastes like a tree.
Yeah.
Honestly, it tastes better than it smells. It's actually not the worst thing in the world.
It kind of tastes like a pine tree, but it kind of tastes like I'm
It smells-
worried drinking this because I feel like somehow I'm gonna wake up blind tomorrow. Because it tastes like like what I would imagine Glade pine cleaner to sort of taste like, but not in a but like because it's been sweetened with sugar or something.
Ugh,
Like it's not good, but.
Well, after the 649,
I'm gonna drink
well, Look,
it,
after the 649 last week, you got to be enjoying this. So
Yeah, fair enough. We didn't air that, or did we?
no. So we did. Remember?
Yes, got it.
All right.
I'm still.
It's a
recovering
repressed
from the
memory. He doesn't want to remember.
Oh yeah, that was
Terrible.
gross. Anyway,
Absolutely
though,
horrifying. Yep. Yep. I've switched to the Glen Breton if anybody cares. These two don't.
we don't.
Yeah.
we never did.
Like, what are
You and
you drinking
your
at the
rig.
beginning of the show? Nobody
Got
cares.
an aftertaste, that's for sure. Ugh.
Well, anyway, getting back to the topic at hand here. So we were talking about absolutism in the freedom of Jesus is getting offended.
That's right. This is a comedy podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
We are in the comedy category.
I will let you know that Edwin Burke's decision on this is very controversial.
Somebody throw a goddamn pie or something.
Exactly. Anything.
Oh God, no! I'm not an absolutism when it comes to freedom of speech. I mean, we already have the precedent that we accept reasonable limits on freedom of speech, where certain, for example, hate speech. If someone's gonna stand on the street corner in full Nazi gear and yell, "Let's kill all the Jews," we don't put up with that shit.
That's
in Canada.
That's uttering death threats. We actually have a law for that. That's not that you don't need the hate speech crime for that. You need that's an uttering a death threat.
Or even just death threats, saying if they come up there and talk about how Jews are rotten and dirty and all the things I'm sure Mike's ancestors believed when they came to this country.
They didn't believe that. They acted upon their own beliefs.
For the record, all four grandparents immigrated to Canada in like the 1950s after World War II from Holland.
Who were they fleeing?
He's Jewish.
Yeah.
Did they wait?
Calvinist.
Did they come via Argentina?
No. You know how we're talking about how like Germany came in and like destroyed the Dutch government and everything?
Yes.
So they were
Except the collaborators.
Yeah, well, it was actually a complicated issue at the time.
It's complicated.
Yeah, for the church.
Like
it was
freedom of
complicated.
speech, it was
Are there elements of the Israeli army that are still looking for people in your family? Is that what's going on here?
Not exactly.
He was going to go visit the rest of his family, but his visa was denied by the Shoah Foundation.
Yeah.
I stole that from the office, and I'm not sorry.
I'm not at liberty to say.
No, I think the problem is that if they were standing on the street corner equally yelling at everybody.
But they're only yelling at women.
But they're primarily
you said earlier that they were yelling at men.
But
too.
they primarily
Mostly
target women, and that's where I think I have a problem with it, because where the line gets drawn, if they're specifically targeting a group of people for, I don't know, having ankles or whatever the fuck they're looking at. I mean,
so that means that you're okay with, like, you're here then, if I'm understanding correctly, you're defending the free speech of, say, Westboro Baptist Church, but not of these two whack job street preachers, simply because Westboro Baptist Church hates everybody?
No, because the Westboro Baptist Church specifically targeting homosexuals.
Honestly, fuck
No,
them.
they're and atheists and Muslims and everybody.
But their
that's
big
not them.
shtick is God hates fags. I mean, that's their.
That was a shtick for a while.
I'm quoting the sign. I'm not,
God hates
using the word.
fags.com. Actually,
Okay, all right.
All right.
So here.
Voice of reason.
The voice of reason from this guy.
Oh my God, is he being the moderate on this one?
What's in
Holy
this
shit.
beer? Anyways, no.
Roofies.
Here's the problem. What do you do with someone that consistently accosts somebody? You can't.
This is starting to taste like a sweat
You can't
sock.
have that in a business operating center with thousands of people flowing through it every day, with some jackass yelling at people in their faces sometimes that they're a whore and they dress like a Jezebel. And
You gave the
they're a
answer
slut.
earlier.
Like, what do you do with that?
You gave the answer earlier.
But if it
the
doesn't
guy is
technically-
mentally ill, institutionalize him.
But
he
when he
needs
has-
help.
because
Yes, but
our
he has a-
mental health care system is so good at that.
Also,
So-
so here's the other
there are
reality.
people way worse
let's
that aren't
say-
getting help.
So let's say you get him in your 72-hour lockdown. He'll never go to jail because, unfortunately, and rightly so to some extent, his family will keep him out of that system because they know it's best for him to be out of that system.
Yeah.
It's best for most
And
people
they
to be
have,
on that
and they
system.
have, yeah. Unfortunately, that's more of a criticism of our healthcare system than anything.
I'm just going to leave that whole failed system thing in the lap of the socialists there and walk away with my nose held righteously up in the air.
Because every time a socialist wants to set it up, some asshole conservative government comes and defunds it.
Thank you, Tim.
I can't believe you just said that. Moderate?
You know I'm right. Because no one ever gets to actually... you can say the same thing on your end. Every time you try a libertarian thing, some asshole socialist government fucks it up.
Actually, no, it's usually the conservatives that screw that up too.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they're not small government.
No,
Yeah,
God,
yeah,
no.
it reminds me. Hey, Josh, how much was that beer?
Well, it definitely was above floor.
Anyway, sorry.
Oh, for those of you who don't
Buck a beer,
understand,
bitches.
It was not a buck.
There was this thing that Doug Ford
Buck a beer.
here in the province of Ontario, for our non-Ontario listeners,
Speak of hate
said that
speech.
he wanted us to go to $1 a beer. He dropped the minimum floor price for beer, even though all beer,
It was
even the
$1.25.
shitty like shitty
Down
like
to
Lakeshore
$1.
crappy beer is still $1.65.
Yep.
Like, no one was charging the floor price to begin with.
It's $1 in 2018.
The only people who would
You
be
can't get candy for $1.
Today, I'm proud to say, promises made, promises kept.
Except for the bomb thing.
It's like every time I see him speak, I'm just waiting for the word bitches to come out of his mouth. Speak of like derogatory speech.
To
Talk
be
a
honest,
beer.
that might make me like him
Bitches.
better if all of a sudden he like swaps some sunglasses on and be like, yeah.
Okay, so American Dad, Principal Lewis. He is white Principal Lewis.
Yeah.
That's who he is.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean,
100%. That's our premiere.
I find it's kind of stupid that he can say promise kept when all he did was lower the floor price that nobody was charging anyway.
and then
And
no one.
all these breweries come out and say, no, we're
Yeah.
not doing that.
We never wanted this. This was never an issue.
There was one guy you posted it to your Facebook, I think, Tim, where there was somebody who was
He's
just
talking
like,
about the tax.
we're answering the Buck a Beer challenge by basically making sure that $1 of every beer sale goes to some
towards-
charity.
Well, even better, goes to refugee settlement in
There.
Ontario.
Love it.
just to
piss him off.
add salt to the wound.
Yeah.
Like it's so
Yeah.
much better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, just had to throw that in there. You know,
I don't know.
Can't let the day go.
Come
without
talk
it.
to me when you can give me $1 for a bottle of whiskey. Until then, I'm not interested.
Buck
You
a
know what?
bottle.
You know what?
Bitches.
You can buy me with buck of whiskey. I think.
There.
Yeah. No health care, no something. You know what? I can drink myself into oblivion. Fuck
There.
it. Like,
Absolutely. Get me a bottle of fantastic whiskey for less than $25, and it's amazing.
Well,
And I'm only saying that because I had my in-laws from the States come up, and they were looking at what we pay for whiskey up here, and they were like, dude.
if they go to
Yeah,
to
but
buck
we
of
have
whiskey,
healthcare,
I'm in.
They were from Texas.
If they both would go to a buck of whiskey, investing all my money into liver healthcare options, like just
Yep.
everything possible, because that's
There's a lot of Swiss
That's gonna
companies
pay
that
off
do
in
that.
that's gonna pay off in the long run.
Oh,
for
yeah.
sure.
Oh, those nice Swiss people, they'll help you out.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
Never mind where they got all that gold between 1939 and 1945.
Nobody
we
talks
don't
about
talk about that.
Nobody
Everyone
talks
was
about
on vacation. Punch was served.
Exactly.
Vivant there.
we weren't there. Anyways, back to the street preachers.
Squirrel.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting conundrum the city has itself in, and I think this is unique
Ooh,
to
conundrum.
London. This is a problem. This
Everywhere.
this
Look
is
at
a
the
problem.
U.S. with Charlottesville, like with the Nazi,
Yep.
like not even like are
Like
they
the
Nazis?
Confederate flag.
They're fucking Nazis.
Yeah, what do you do? And that's
If you're on the same side as Nazis, you're a goddamn Nazi.
At what point?
Nazi!
And that's the thing. At what point does it not become a free speech issue and becomes a throw their asses in jail because they're trying to start something that's going to kill massive
literally
amounts of people?
fought a war about this.
We did.
We won.
You know what? If this was in Germany and they were
I don't
half
like
the
war,
time
but
they're
we
nerds,
won.
You start doing they have alt-right groups and stuff in Germany, but they say the word Nazi, their ass is going in jail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So-
If you so much as like draw a swastika on a piece of paper,
Yeah.
you're going to jail because they do not. Because here's the thing, they understand you keep that shit tight under wraps.
Yeah.
Because bad shit can happen.
Yep.
Especially in Germany because
Exactly.
they have a little history with
You
it.
keep
Yeah.
the Nazis in the family. That's the way it goes.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
just like Mike.
Behind closed doors.
I was wondering why we had those downloads in Argentina lately.
Oh, that explains it.
Absolutely. Yeah. They support us from afar.
What about all the ones from Eastern Europe? That's just facetious.
Yep. That's entirely different. Yep.
Black sites.
Yeah, black sites.
Yeah.
That's a whole other thing.
Keeping a cell open for us.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Your next
no.
call is coming from anonymous. Just
See, the worst part about these street preachers though, is
Anonymous.
people try to get it. They none of the alternate things that have been done have been effective. So they've tried doing drum circles around them. They've tried
Yeah.
everything. It doesn't ever. They still show back up every day.
I think partly because though that they're getting the reaction they want, which is to provoke a reaction from people. People are drowning them out, but I think they're thriving more on attention than
No,
anything
so
else.
they actually believe this stuff. So they got caught up with this like right-wing preacher that's out of the States that sort
Oh,
of had this
God.
quasi-cultish thing.
You talking about the Westboro Baptist Church?
No, it's
There's only like 46 members, and they're all Fred Phelps family.
Also, the Westboro Church is like one of like 300 churches in the U.S. that believe this kind of stupid shit. Right?
Yeah, I guess. But they're,
So-
they're the most infamous.
He with this
Yeah.
one particular firebrand of street preaching, and it's not even. Like it's just the Bible thumping, you're going to hell, or all going to hell, your sons and daughters going to hell. You're probably all gay and suck dicks, therefore you're going to hell. And like that's like the 4-year-old. Please stop saying that. Like
quit making me explain to my 4-year-old what sucking dick is.
Yeah, like please stop saying that. Like, can you please
I mean at the end of the day, I mean if we can tell people on TV that they can't say sucking dick at 4 p.m. on a Sunday, how come we can't tell two assholes on the street with megaphones to stop doing the same thing?
You can't say fuck on the radio, then hey, that's the beauty of content.
We can say fuck on our podcast.
Yeah. Freedom of speech on the podcast is here.
Fuckity fuckity fuck.
Oh, hold on. Don't sing this too much of the song because then we'll get sued for copyright infringement.
Who copyrighted the F word?
Apple.
Oh, okay. Yes.
It was in the user agreement.
It goes rounded square, the F word. Like.
Was that before or after the paragraph where you're not allowed to use their products to create weapons of mass destruction?
Somewhere
and they're explicit. Nuclear, biological.
Biological. Well, I thought the biological ones I knew in the backyard.
Yeah, unreal.
Oh God, no. So when we're talking about
God's not going to help you.
When we talk about precedent, though, we already have tons of precedents in society where we say certain kinds of speech in certain kind of contexts isn't acceptable.
Are you going back to the fire in the museum kind of example?
No, I'm going to go back to you can't say fuck on the radio at 4 p.m. on a Sunday.
Well, yeah. I mean, some people can, but it's probably not gonna. It's gonna be. Beep.
Well, on satellite radio you can, which I'm not sure what. But like in publicly like on satellite radio, you can say fuck anytime you want. It's fine.
So why?
I subscribe to that service knowing the risk.
So why should be able to say
the risk?
So why should be able on the same thing? Why should be able to
risk.
call somebody a whore on the street Sunday at 4:00 in the afternoon?
Yeah.
Just walking.
Like what is effectively the difference?
Where it's just as public. In fact, you could almost say you have less options there because it's not like you can change the channel.
And so this is more.
And we can't tell people to move because someone's going to yell whore at them.
This is more.
That's not right.
This is a flaw of the law and the legal system than it is necessarily because everyone knows that what this jackass is doing is wrong. It's just how do you stop them without infringing the larger group's rights, which I think is your concern.
That is my concern. I mean. The way that I've always approached this is, look, the price we pay for freedom of speech is that we have to put up with a lot of rubbish. That's just the price that we pay.
To some extent, yeah.
And that's why I'm okay with these guys doing that, and I hope that...
Well, I mean, let's say it was your wife and kids, though. Would you feel a little differently? Actually, if they were yelling at your wife and kids?
I can tell you that someone has yelled at my wife before, and when I was walking beside her, and these kids, out of a van yelled, "Your girlfriend's ugly!" Like that's what they yelled. And... aside from the fact that I immediately began a plot to kill them, which didn't end up happening, at one point, my wife said something that was very wise.
Consciences are a bitch, aren't they?
They really are.
Yeah.
Yeah. But my wife said something that was very helpful to me at the time. She said, consider the source. It's not worth listening to. Consider the source.
Well, there's a little difference between kids driving around in a van yelling your girlfriend's ugly than somebody, a known nuisance, standing on a street corner with a megaphone calling you a whore every single time you go to work.
But the principle still applies.
But here's
the source.
So
I don't think the principle applies.
Here's my piece. I'm inclined to agree with you, but I'm also very
you
worried.
being Tim. This is an audio format.
Yes, you Tim.
Points.
But I'm also very. I actually stand on the middle ground. I'm Tim today.
Wow.
So and I'm also very worried about the infringements of freedom of speech because if I go down and I want to protest Doug Ford, which I'm sure is going to happen in the near future, and I want to go to a megaphone, I don't want to have to go get a fucking permit to do it.
Yeah.
So and that
you need permission from your government,
and then I don't want to have that as a tactic for suppression, right?
I understand it can be a slippery slope, and I do share that concern here. But the problem is that they can't say no street preaching.
No, they can't.
They can't say that because that's blatantly unconstitutional.
So this is why I say it's a failure of our legal system. It's just sort of this weird.
Well, it's an imperfection in our system that I'm not sure is fixable.
No, I agree.
And in that sense, we have no choice but to let these idiots still be idiots and let society at large.
I mean, or beat him with a baseball bat.
I don't know.
I mean,
it's
that's
like
just.
I don't know.
I didn't say that.
Isn't there some other?
It was my alter ego.
Yeah, that's right.
Isn't there some other public nuisance law we can come up with? Like I don't know. Like
those are sitting on the
if you call a woman
loitering,
a whore,
he's loitering. That's what it is.
Seriously, just I just asked with loitering tickets.
Did you put duck on that pants on a Thursday? Just go like the really old laws.
Yeah,
ones that
exactly.
don't make
Yeah.
any sense.
Yep.
Exactly.
Are you wearing pomade made by a Spaniard?
I still think that the guy should be picked up by medical personnel and taken in for an assessment.
And again, it's not going to do anything because here's the thing: you have to be quite crazy to be institutionalized. Sorry,
He's
not to use the
standing
term
behind
crazy.
a megaphone calling random people whores.
so what
He
gets-
is out there crazy.
Yeah.
Oh God, no! The difference is that he knows he's morally culpable in what he's doing. There's a difference. Like a certain level of
You don't know
insanity.
how crazy he is.
I think he's morally culpable in what he's doing.
Okay.
Moral culpability, I think, is the line. If you cannot be considered morally culpable for your actions, then you should be institutionalized.
Fair enough.
That's where the line is.
All right.
Anyway, so on that note, we need to wrap up the show.
Well, I am Josh, and I'm.
Well, no, we have to say we want to thank our listeners.
Oh, our listeners! Yes, thank you so much.
And if
who
that
probably
street
most of them
preacher,
tuned out.
if that street preacher is listening, do your thing, man. And we'll hate you just as much.
Hey, Josh, can I get one more? Fear ye the meatballs.
Fear ye the meatballs, you son of Thor.
Son of Thor? Where the heck did that come from?
Deep.
Yeah, that's
deep
weak
within.
sauce.
Deep within.
No,
That
something
was
like
a revelation.
Fear ye the meatballs.
Hallelujah.
Anyway,
Fear ye the
anyway,
meatballs.
if you're still listening, find us on iTunes, Spotify, wherever you can get.
With your spaghetti sauce and penne pasta, you just come
All right,
down.
anyway.
Hallelujah. Praise
Anyway,
ramen.
visit our site, twoandchange.ca,
Hallelujah.
read our blog, and now Josh is speaking.
I'm going to
in
go
spaghetti
institutionalize
tongues.
Josh. I hope everybody has a great night.
Ramen.
Anyway, for Two and Change, I'm Tim.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Josh.
Yes,
We'll
he is.
see you next time. Institutionalize your ass.
Exactly.
Institutionalized. I've been institutionalized once. Never.
Never happened. There you go.
Never happened. In my dreams, it did.
Really?
Probably
How'd that
Yeah,
go?
I was chased by a giant carrot into the institution.
A giant carrot.
Yeah.
that happened. Mike had a carrot suit, and we just thought it'd be fun.
It was
Oh,
fun.
that was
I had a great time.
You were asking earlier what was in your beer.
Yep.
LSD.
That explains the piney clean taste.
Exactly.
It's pine salt.
Really, it's pine salt. It's burning my.
Well, I'm actually kind of almost done with the beard. It's
Growing on you?
No.
You're done with your beard? Fear ye the meatball.